carried by Smith. So they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Now look at the complete first half statistical picture.
First downs 14-5, and total yardage 191-58. The Kansas City Chiefs not doing anything offensively. We mentioned they're last in the league offense, and they're second last in possession time. So the time of possession is really nothing there either. The surprising thing, or the thing that they're looking for and not getting, no turnovers by their defense and no big plays on special teams.
So Todd Blackledge, 7 for 10, only 48 yards starting out this third quarter. And looking for the pass. And it's intercepted. Kevin McArthur on a 21-yard touchdown interception return.
Todd Blackledge, the tight end in the flat. Linebacker had him well covered.
The pass intended for tight end Jonathan Hayes. Kevin McArthur, a first-year player out of Lamar, scoring his first ever NFL touchdown. He was signed as a free agent when Lance Bell was injured. He was in the Jet training camp this summer for a third straight tryout. He had spent some time with the Raiders 2 years ago. A big moment in the career of Kevin McArthur as Leahy puts it through. Ryan put down a high snap, and the Jets scoring quickly, lead it 28-6.
The AFC wildcard game is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By GTE. GTE. And by the United States Marine Corps. We're looking for a few good men.
Inside linebacker Kevin McArthur, who just picked it off for a 21-yard touchdown return, certainly enjoying the moment. You look for a switch by the Chiefs. Can you see Bill Kenny for Todd Blackledge?
I think you got to start thinking about it. Kenny has the experience, and they need somebody in there that has that experience that can bring them from behind and score some touchdowns.
Again, nice coverage by the Jets, led by Rich Miano to stop Jeff Smith.
Let's go back and take a look. Here's Hayes. He's going to go into the flat. Now, right here is McArthur. He's going to see it and cut right underneath him. As you'll see, the coverage is there. Hayes was in motion, not a very good route. McArthur is right there. The ball should not have been thrown to Hayes. It should have been thrown downfield or incomplete.
And John Malkovich staying with Todd Blackledge. Of course, we do not know for certain the extent of the injury suffered by Bill Kenny, although he did look pretty good yesterday in practice. First down from the 18. Boyce Green. Perhaps picked up a yard. Bob Crable on the stop.
There's nothing that will demoralize a team quicker than to come out in the second half and have your quarterback throw the first pass for an interception and a touchdown for the other team.
And Bill Kenny is warming up.
I think he can throw all right, Marv, as you see him catching the ball left-handed to protect that right hand. It's just a question of how much beating he can take when you get the ball from center on the snap.
Second down and 9. Green has carried 5 times for only 6 yards. He has been stifled, and a rejection by Rusty Gilbo. So Rusty Gilbo using his 6'4" to swat it down.
But Carson likes to blitz with Gilbo because he is big and strong, and he's hard to block by a back in the backfield. This time, no chance for Blackledge. And if the man is there, you have to step around or do something. You just don't throw it into his arms if he's leaping in the air.
Todd Blackledge began the season as the starting quarterback, lost the job after 7 games, returned to the lineup 3 weeks ago when Bill Kenny was hurt, led Kansas City to the victory over Denver. Overall, he started 8 games and went 5-3, and the same record for Bill Kenny. Now goes sideline, and able to complete to Henry Marshall for the first down. Bobby Humphrey on the coverage. 11-yard pass play.
Marshall to the right of your screen. going to go down and break to the outside. Page, the inside receiver, is going to go deep. Now, if the man that was between him would have come up to cover Marshall, then Blackledge would have thrown to Page deeper downfield.
Kansas City first down, just inside their 30. Minute 15 gone by. Third quarter, the Jets 28, the Chiefs 6. Stephon Page in motion. Boyce Green with flags thrown. Green stopped at the line by Barry Bennett. And here's Red Cashin calling the offside against the Jets.
Lined up in the neutral zone. Number 94 on the defense. Still first down.
And that is the second time this afternoon that Rusty Gilbo, number 94, has done just that.
Well, it used to be Joe Klecko lining up offsides, jumping offsides. Now it's Gilbo, but mentioned Klecko. Take a man out of the defense to really affect him. Klecko, probably the defensive player of the year the first half of the season when he was in there. Just caused all kinds of chaos for an offensive line.
A moment ago, that first down pass to Marshall, Kansas City's first down since back in the first quarter. Now 1st and 5. And it is broken up. Boyce Green could not hold. Bob Crable covering. Blackledge telegraphing his passes.
Sometimes, Mark, the quarterback has got to be an actor. You have to look one way, even if you know you're going to throw it to the right. You can't look right the whole time. You've got to look down the field. You've got to look short or right and be an actor. Set things up. Yes, he is telegraphing. He's looking too long. Sometimes you set up a defensive lineman. You act like you don't see him, and at the last minute to avoid the rush, then you step out of the way. So you got to be a little bit of a ham to wear a number in the teens.
Like yourself. 2nd down and 5 at the 35. Juggling act by Page, and he took a hammer. Bobby Humphrey with the hard hit on Stephon Page. So Page on the end around.
Humphrey says, I'm covering Page no matter where he is. Here's Page. Here's Humphrey. Page is going to come by and get the ball, and Humphrey's going to come over and say, you're not running away from me. Snap, inside handoff. Page fumbles a little bit, slows it down. Now nobody is blocking Humphrey because he's got coverage. Everybody else went downfield to block. Humphrey says, I've got the speed to catch you.
Loss of 1, 3rd and 6 at the 34. The Jets leading Kansas City 28-6 for early 3rd quarter. Blackledge with the time, but couldn't find anyone, and has the first down and some more. Blackledge to midfield on a 16-yard run.
Good play by Blackledge. The reason this works, man coverage downfield, the coverage is too good. Nobody for him to throw to, and then everybody's busy downfield covering somebody. There's nobody in the center of the field to cover the quarterback, and he picks up about 15 yards and a first down.
Ball spotted at the 48. A reminder, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion. Stephon Page in motion. Blackledge in trouble. And bumped out by Lyons. A lot of effort, though, by Todd Blackledge. Blackledge getting back to the line of scrimmage. Lyons gets credit for the sack. Marty Lyons, who made his way back last week despite the sore shoulder, and he has been playing with a harness, and he is not 100%.
I think John Makovic is probably, as we look at Marty Lyons, maybe going to Kinney pretty soon if Blackledge doesn't get something done on this drive.
83 Page lining up slot left, and the 30-second clock showing a 0. Let's see if they call for the timeout. Apparently he did, so he did beat the clock, and a timeout is called. The arm to avoid the 30-second clock. 2nd and 10 at the 48. Jeff Smith picked up 2. It'll be a 3rd down and 8. Lester Lyles looking to bounce back from a poor game in Cincinnati last week, making the stop.
There's Bill Kenny getting a little restless on the sideline. Marv, the Chiefs are not going to be able to run against the Jets. The Jets can stop the Chiefs running game while they're rushing the passer, and you need some experience that Kenny has to get in the ball game and do it. I don't think that Blackledge has got the confidence about him that he can bring this team back, and I think if Kenny can go at all and taking the snaps from center, that he'll be the man that's going to bring them back if they're going to get back in this football game.
Mark Gastineau back in for this 3rd down and 8. And a 1st down catch by Carlos Carson. Johnny Lynn on the stop, a 16-yard pass play. Just a moment ago, Marty Lyons looking very shaky as he headed to the sideline.
Look at his left hand there, his left forearm. Let's go back and take a look at Carson coming off the line of scrimmage. Carter forces him inside to Lynn, 29. Carson makes a nice break to the outside. Lynn comes up to make the tackle.
Carson's first catch of the day. 85, the tight end, Jonathan Hayes now lining up on the right side. Carson in motion. And here's Green on a sweep. And hit down across the 30 by Kyle Clifton. Boyce Green, who last week returned a kickoff for 97 yards and a touchdown, has averaged about 3.5 yards per carry. The Kansas City running game has not done it all season. Mike Pruitt led the team in rushing with only 448 yards on the ground, and he is out because of a sprained knee. He's on injured reserve.
The rushing game is 27th in the National Football League, so they're not surprising anybody by not being able to run here today.
Marty Lyons is back. 2nd down and 3. Play action. Blackledge eluding Baldwin, running for the 1st down, and has it. So Todd Blackledge doing it on the ground.
And you have to be able to scramble, Mar, because there are going to be times when the coverage is downfield. One of the interesting differences today from the Jet defense last week, as we take a look at the coverage being there, is that Bud Carson is not blitzing his linebackers and not committing his defense secondary to one-on-one coverage. They're playing a lot of zone. There's a lot of coverage downfield, and I think he feels as though just contain them and we can beat them.
Kansas City 1st down at the Jet 24. Kansas City Chiefs did not pick up a 1st down in the 2nd quarter. They're trailing 28-6. 8.5 remaining, 3rd quarter. Green and Moriarty are the runners. Blackledge for the end zone and broken up. Jerry Holmes got a piece of it. It was intended for Henry Marshall.
Every time he looks downfield, there's coverage there by the Jets. He's getting Foster, getting pressure up front from Foster, and downfield he's getting coverage. Just take a look. 98 is Foster in the inside there, as you saw a little loop, a little game. Addix 51. I mean, it's Donnelly 51 and Addix 61, both trying to do some protecting up front. Jets getting a good pass rush off of their front 4.
Rome Foster, recent addition to the squad. One-time Miami Dolphin. 13th play of the drive, 2nd and 10, and here's Moriarty. Harry Hamilton, the free safety, stopping Larry Moriarty, who spent part of the season with Houston. Acquired in a trade back in October. He was a starter for the Oilers. In fact, back in '84 in Houston, He had a career-high 138-yard game against the Jets. He just picked up 6, setting up a 3rd down and 4 at the 18.
The Chiefs have not got that speed back in their backfield. They're all fullback types. You got Moriarty and Green, Smith and Hurd. Ever since the loss of Joe Delaney, they have not had a speed back in the backfield. Most every team in the league has a good halfback.
3rd down and 4. And Blackledge completes over the middle. Paul Kaufman, the veteran tight end, appears to be short of the 1st down. Kaufman, the one-time Green Bay Packer and a 3-time Pro Bowl man, is short of that 1st down. 4th and about 1.
Saw the signal there. The 2 fists together means double tight end. They're going with their big offensive linemen, both Alt, number 76, and Attic, 61, will go to the tight end positions. And number 73, Josbiak, their number 1 draft choice, will go to the moving back. Big offensive line.
Crowd urging the defense on. Boyce Green following Moriarty and stopped. Derlin Moore, the first to get to Boyce Green.
It's been the Achilles heel for the Chiefs all year long. They have not been very good in short yardage situations. And a lot of times, Marv, when you go to those big offensive linemen, the defense knows you can't throw. So they really, as we look at it from a reverse angle, they slant toward the blocking back. Derlin Moore, 74, gets in there and runs up the pursuit lane. The Jets, with a good defense, turn it over.
Mark Gastineau, Monty Lyons, both instrumental in the excellent defensive play by the Jets today. A 15-play drive for naught for Kansas City. Jets take over. First time their offense has appeared on the field in the second half. Freeman McNeil muscling his way out to the 23-yard line. Strong safety Lloyd Burris on the stop. It'll be a 2nd down. 2nd and 3 upcoming.
Not many times you have the ball 15 plays and you come away with nothing. That time the Chiefs going for it on 4th down and not being successful, and you have to convert 3rd and short, 4th and short, especially when you're down by 22 points.
McNeil has the 1st down, led by the right tackle, Gordon King.
McNeil having the kind of day that we thought he might have, and you can be sure that they're going to continue just to eat up the clock and the yardage on the ground with Freeman McNeil.
84 yards, 20 carries for McNeil. 1st down for the Jets from their 33. Up front, Joe Fields the center, Guy Bingham, Dan Alexander the guards, Jim Sweeney and Gordon King are the tackles. 89 Cleaver in motion. Stopped by Kit Lathrop.
To the right of your screen, let's take a look at 70 Lathrop as he beats the block back by Bingham, runs around it and gets in there and makes a nice play, almost causing a fumble.
Lathrop in his 3rd year out of Arizona State. He plays as the 4th down lineman. Usually in passing situations, caused a loss of 3. 2nd and 13 back at the 25. Toon could not hold on. That's the type of pass he usually comes up with. Kevin Ross on the cover.
Well, that wasn't Toon's fault. O'Brien, thinking that he was going to slide a little bit further to the inside, had the ball hanging inside. Now watch Toon as he goes down, lets the man to the top of your screen clear, and then goes to the inside. Now, Ryan thought he was going to be a little bit further into the center of the field. It's the problem you have, Ryan has, when you don't work with the team in practice a lot.
Here's McNeil. And the Jets come up short of the 1st down. You're talking about taking the proper number of snaps. Of course, Ken O'Brien, as the starter, has been the key guy during practice sessions.
Up until this week, O'Brien has taken all the snaps in practice, and Ryan just works with the scout team, never gets to work with their own offense. I disagree with that, because as we look at O'Brien and Ryan getting together, Ryan must have a headache or something. I don't know. But I disagree with that. I think what you have to do is you're one play away from going to your backup, and I think he needs to get some work in practice with your offense.
Dave Jennings in punt formation. Back at his 17, and he's punting to Jeff Smith. And that's the closest the Chiefs have come. Good roll. Here's Smith. Jennings said the other day, as he got off a 45-yard punt, he didn't expect that Kansas City would come up big on special teams, because usually clubs will do well after a club like Kansas City has done well. That was rudely interrupted by a commercial message as we went into the break. The Kansas City special team came in with a very impressive record, but they have not done it thus far today.
Their offense didn't have done much coming in. Their defense had set them up, and their special teams, and no turnovers for their defense and no big plays for the special teams.
First down from the 30 for Blackledge from Kansas City. Blackledge hit hard. Pass intended for Page. Barry Bennett with the hard hit of the quarterback, Todd Blackledge.
Jets getting some good pressure from their front three in non-passing situations. Of course, Crable occupying a couple of men, Luch 72, allows Bennett one-on-one. And Blackledge, that's not the one-on-one he'd like to have. Bennett outweighs him probably 60, 70 pounds.
Jets have come up with 2 sacks and 4 pressures. And we're told they're still working on the shoulder of Marty Lyons, who did check back in after he was shaken up. Second down and 10. That's Carson, 88, in motion. Back to the ground for Green. Green out to the 33. Picked up 3 on the play. It'll be a third down and 7.
You have 4 minutes left to play, and the Chiefs are down by 22 points, Marv. It's going to be a point in time pretty soon here where you're not going to be able to fool around with running plays. They're not working for them, and you're going to have to go to the pass exclusively.
Marshall to the right, Carson left. 3:40 to go in this third quarter. Again, the pressure on Blackledge. And again, Blackledge running for the first down. Harry Hamilton tripped him up. So Blackledge keeps the series alive, running for 15.
Blackledge, the leading ground gainer on this team pretty soon. Again, it's a broken play. Coverage is downfield. Foster taking the outside charge, gets a hand on him. Again, man-to-man coverage, everybody turned away running after the receiver, and Blackledge gets downfield for a first down. But the Jets will let him do that all the way down the field if he doesn't complete any big plays.
So Blackledge has outrushed his running backs. First down at the 48. Boyce Green on the reception, and submarine by Bob Crable. Crable had an outstanding game last week, one of the few bright spots for the Jets against the Bengals in Cincinnati, a homecoming for Crable, who attended Moeller High School in Cincinnati, and he has been strong today.
He was about the only Jet that played well last week, as we see a little screen. Lutz out there blocking on Crable, and a nice sidestep by Crable avoids the blocker and makes the tackle.
Boyce Green has not had himself a wonderful day. He's caught 4 passes from -1 yard. Second and 10. Blackledge to the sideline for nothing. Henry Marshall wrestled down by Russell Carter.
And again, Marv, the reason they're throwing those short passes to Marshall and to Boyce Green behind the line of scrimmage is because the Jets secondary is deep in zones. They're not doing what they did last week against Cincinnati, blitzing and committing their defensive backs one-on-one. They're keeping a lot of people deep, always a man in the middle of the field, no big plays for the Chiefs, and they're stopping their run as they rush to pass.
At one time, Kansas City coordinator Bud Carson, now with the Jets, has enjoyed what he has seen thus far today. The Jet defense has done the job. They have closed down the Chiefs. 3rd down and 8. Blackledge going deep, and it's intercepted by Carter. Russell Carter. Bumped out by Larry Moriarty, and the Jets get the ball back. A minute 6 to go. 3rd quarter. We'll be right back. The season, in fact, this is first since week 15 back in the 1984 season against the Buffalo Bills.
And yet we're told that Carter is the best man-to-man coverage man on the team as we look at Bill Kenny warming up on the sideline.
So the Jets first down from their 40. A minute 6 left, 3rd quarter. McNeil took a hard hit out to the 44.
Let's go back and take a look at the interception. Here's Carter. The receiver that he's throwing to is going to run this pattern right here. Now Carter is going to sneak back and pick the ball off. This coverage is such that it's a 2-deep zone. Carter is not supposed to be back there, but he has vision into the backfield, sees that Blackledge is looking that way, and follows his eyes and goes back and pick it off. That's why I'm saying you have to look around and look the defensive backs off.
3rd turnover. 2 have resulted in Jet touchdowns. Jets 2nd and 6 at the 44. And Ryan got hit from behind. Bill Moss, 3-year man from Pittsburgh, coming up with the sack.
Moss has been held in check pretty much today by Joe Fields. This time Fields 65 is beaten. What happens on that, Fields is expecting Ryan to roll a little bit further, and Moss just throws him aside, gets around him, and makes the tackle.
Chiefs' 2nd sack of the day, the other by Dino Hackett. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, the Jets 28, the Kansas City Chiefs 6. We'll be back after these words from your local station. See Meadowlands as we get underway, 4th quarter, and the Jets leading Kansas City in this AFC wild card game by the score of 28-6. 3rd down and 13. Catch by McNeil, but short of the first down. Kevin Ross on the coverage. Coming up following the Jets in Kansas City on NFL 86. We will visit both the Jets and Kansas City locker rooms, and we'll also hear reaction from the Cleveland Browns, who are waiting in the wings. The winner today will play at Cleveland next Saturday. We'll also be previewing the NFC wild card game. 4th down, and Dave Jennings will punt from his 29-yard line. His 4th punt of the day. Jeff Smith is back, and it is blocked. So the Chiefs get one.
Albert Lewis.
And it's a touchdown. Albert Lewis, who explodes, blocking the Jennings punt, which is a rarity. Albert Lewis, who blocked a punt against Pittsburgh last week that was recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. This is 4th block punt of the season.
4 block punts and 1 tackled punter, which is in effect 5 times he's got there before the punter kicked the football. The special teams again bringing the Chiefs back, giving them some life, putting them back in this ball game, Marv.
And that was a solid block by Albert Lewis. Nick Lowery, who missed his earlier extra point attempt, putting it through. And the Chiefs now trail by the score, 28-13.
Students are always going places. Now there's a powerful computer that can go with them, the IBM PC Convertible. It goes from chemistry to economics, from ancient civilization to modern civilization. The IBM PC Convertible is a smart gift because students can carry an IBM computer anywhere, even into the future.
Listen to the heartbeat. Listen to the heartbeat.
truck you can lean on. America knows nothing works like a tough Chevy truck.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy truck.
In the look-alike world of financial services, one stands out. It's one of America's strongest diversified financial experts. A fortress of insurance protection for group medical care and employee benefits. A master architect of financial growth in pensions, mutual funds, and real estate investments. It's the Travelers. Have you looked under the Travelers umbrella lately?
The AFC Wildcard Game is brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. By Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by IBM.
Kansas City Chiefs with their first point scored since the opening drive of the game. So special teams coach Crash Gans strikes in the person of Albert Lewis, popular guy. Crash Gans, who was special teams coach here, and then went on to Philadelphia, and then here he is back with the Chiefs.
They love him. When the special teams meet, a lot of the players that aren't normally on special teams will go in anyway. Yeah. They say, hey, Gans is on. Let's go in and hear him. He's a great motivational speaker and does a great job motivating his players.
And here's Lowery with a little pop taken by Page. Tony Page, one of the up men, gets out to the 39-yard line. Again, the Chiefs look to keep it away from Townsell and Humphrey. Humphrey returned one last week for 96 yards.
Let's go back and take a look at Albert Lewis's block of the punt. 29 is Albert Lewis. Now he gets inside of 31 Barber right there, and he gets back and knows how to block a punt. This is one thing that Gans says. A lot of guys don't know how to block punts when they get there. We show them how to block punts. Certainly Lewis knows how to do it.
On the kickoff, offside called on Kansas City. It's declined. Jets take over at the 39. First punt that Dave Jennings has had blocked as a member of the Jets back in '84 with the Giants. A year that he'd like to forget about. He had 3 blocked punts. First down from the 39. And again, McNeil. We're just underway in this fourth quarter. Six-yard pickup. That'll be a second down and 4. McNeil, the lone deep back. Schuler in motion. McNeil. Short pickup. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs opened the season against the Cincinnati Bengals, and perhaps this a preview for the future, as the Chiefs' first touchdown of the season, only a minute and 42 into the game, came on that blocked punt of Mark Robinson. Deron Cherry able to recover it in the end zone for the score, and the Chiefs went on to win it 24-14. The special teams has had a magnificent season. 6 blocked punts coming into today, 3 blocked field goals, a blocked conversion, and 5 touchdowns in all. Third down and 2. And Ryan puts it up. Now Toon. But the first ball is in a fumble. McNeil recovered.
You can see as the Chiefs are trying to tackle the Jet players, they're going for the ball. The first man there didn't get it, but the second man knocked it free. Let's take a look at it from the opposite side of the field. Burris is there and knocks it free right there. Number 34, Lloyd Burris. But McNeil for the Jets is there to recover it. The thing that special teams touchdown has done for the Chiefs, Marv, is given some life back to this football team. They're back in this game, and that missed extra point looms larger right now.
McNeil off the left side. And a very short pickup. Art Still on the stop. Art Still 4 times to the Pro Bowl, and was a second alternate this season. Led the Chiefs with 10.5 sacks. Second down and 9. At the Kansas City 48, 12:45 to go. Fourth quarter, the Jets 28 and the Chiefs 13. McNeil has run for 101 yards on 26 carries. And Ryan for Walker. He underthrew, but Walker came up with it. What a play by Wesley Walker. He had to cut back in front of Lloyd Burris. A 38-yard pass play.
Give credit, Marv, to Walton for calling the play, because the Chiefs are in a similar type of defense to what the Bears would play last year. It's called a Bear defense. They're stacked against the run. They're not playing the pass. The ball was underthrown, and Walker comes back and makes a big play for the Jets. But they were stacked against the run to stop the Jet running game.
Ron Cherry thought he was about to intercept, but instead Walker came back for a second catch of the day.
Well, Cherry didn't go up and catch the ball at its highest point. One of the things that a defensive back is taught very early.
First and goal for McNeil. McNeil running hard to the 7. Cofield, the outside linebacker, and Paul make the stop.
There's that last reception right there. Cherry jumps and waits for the ball around his waist, and Walker gets up a little bit higher and makes the reception.
Wesley Walker, who has been very quiet the past few weeks, getting back into the offense here today. Ball placed at the 6, second and goal from the 6. 81 is Griggs in motion. Ryan for Griggs in a surprise touchdown. Billy Griggs, who did not catch a pass during the regular season. A second-year player from Virginia, was wide open, and Ryan found him.
Joe Walton pulling out all the plays in his bag of tricks. Very similar to early in the season when everything he called went the right way.
And here's Pat Leahy. So Billy Griggs with his first National Football League touchdown.
Griggs was in motion, started going back across the formation from where he came. That makes the defensive man think he's going back, and he wasn't. Big play for the Jets to answer that special teams touchdown by Kansas City.
All right, Bob, and as you saw, Billy Griggs with his first NFL touchdown and first ever catch in the NFL, and Griggs involved on the stop here.
Well, at least he didn't forget how to catch a pass.
And now Bill Kenny has come on. He came on briefly when Blackledge was shaken up in the first half. What do you think, Bob? Too late?
Well, I think better late than never. I should have been in maybe a series or two before. Blackledge had not done anything since the first drive of the game.
Kansas City, first down from the 40. And Kenny swings it for Green. Boyce Green picked up 8 on the play. Crable stopped him. Todd Blackledge, 12 for 21, only 80 yards, and intercepted twice. The interception by the linebacker, Kevin McArthur, really hurt to open up the second half.
It certainly did, and Blackledge has had an up and down year. It seems as though his confidence is not what it should be, and obviously Makovic would rather have started with Kenny and played him the full way. He's more experienced. He throws the ball better to Carson, his favorite target. Carson coming back for this game, but he's in there now, and he's got an uphill battle.
Injury on the field. Mark Addix, the right guard, being helped off. Pat Ryan has had an excellent day, 16 for 23. And
not big numbers, though, for Ryan. Again, Freeman McNeil set the table for Ryan to come on and do a good job. 3 touchdowns, of course, is the production part of it. The 154 yards is Not a lot of yardage by today's standards in passing, but he gets the job done. Ran the offense well and did the things that he needed to do.
Pat Ryan, that equals a career high, throwing 3 touchdowns in a game. Mark Addix departing, the right guard from Baylor, by way of the USFL. 2nd down and 3. Penalty flag thrown. Boyce Green running for the 1st down. He's stopped by Bob Crable. But a marker down. Looks to be an ankle injury suffered by Addix. Check that by Green. Boyce Green is down. And this is Addix, who was helped off a moment ago.
74 on the defense. 1st down.
Offside call on Derlin Moore.
Let's go back and take a look and see if we can see where Boyce Green is injured. Oh, right there. The defensive lineman falls on his ankle. That's Crable, number 50. It's that'll get you every time right there.
Right here, let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC. Marv Albert with Bob Greasy from the New Jersey Meadowlands for this AFC wild card matchup, and the Jets, after losing 5 in a row, going up against the Chiefs, who had won their last 3 to qualify for the playoffs. The Jets with a commanding 35-13 lead. Kansas City got on the board first on a 1-yard run by Jeff Smith. However, the extra point was missed by Nick Lowery. Then it was McNeil on a 4-yard run plus the extra point for a 7-6 lead. Ryan to McNeil, a 1-yard pass play. Ryan to Toon on an 11-yard touchdown pass. The 21-yard interception by McArthur. First play of the 2nd quarter extended it to 28-6. Boyce Green is helped to the sideline. Kansas City finally got one. A block punt by Albert Lewis. That has been their specialty throughout the season. And it was covered up for the touchdown. 28-13 the score at that point. But Ryan just completed a 7-play, 61-yard drive by hitting the tight end Billy Griggs for his first career catch and touchdown. Smith not able to hold on. So it will be a 3rd down and 3. Bill Kenny, who bruised his thumb and sprained a ligament on his index finger last week against Pittsburgh, replacing Todd Blackledge.
An up and down year there for the Chiefs, Marv. They won the last 3 before playing this game, then lost 3, then won 4. Came in streaks for the Chiefs this year.
And they did finish strong. In fact, they finished strong last year, but all it got them was 6-10. Carter on the coverage. Pass intended for Emil Harry.
Talking with Bill Kenny yesterday at practice, he was expecting Bud Carson's defense to be a little bit different. He says he blitzes on 2nd down, he blitzes on 3rd down, he blitzes all the time. He's getting a steady diet of zone and safe coverages today, and Bud Carson changing up. Carson usually likes to come out of the locker room blitzing.
3rd down play out of a shotgun. Carlos Carson picking up the 1st down. 27-yard pass play. Getting back to what I...
Carson is the big receiver for the Chiefs. Was out the last 4 or 5 games with a bad foot. Gets around Carter. Kenny, with a good anticipation, lays the ball to the inside and allows Carson to run into it.
Getting back to what I was saying a moment ago, actually the Chiefs last year finished 6-10 after winning 3 of their first 4. But this season able to win on their final 3. Kenny throwing end zone intended for Carson. Carter on the coverage.
You can see the last 3 passes that have been thrown by Kenny have been directed at Carlos Carson, who is his favorite receiver.
So Kenny is 2 out of 5 for 35 yards and has a 2nd and 10 down at the 20. A 35-13 Jet lead.
The Chiefs have got to score, Marv, and score quickly and do some magic with their special teams, because there's not a lot of time left in this ball game.
Just under 9 minutes left. And that is short of the first down. Paul Kaufman, the tight end, stopped by Kyle Clifton. It'll be a 3rd and 3. The ball spotted at the 14. And Kansas City with the 4 receivers, Harry, Carson, Page, and Marshall. It's not Harry Carson, it's Carlos Carson and Emil Harry. Incomplete, intended for Page. Bill Kenny in his 8th year out of Northern Colorado, looking back at the bench.
Just throws this ball before Page is ready for it. As you see, Page is looking around to see what the coverage is. Throws it behind him. Somebody's undressing him.
Kyle Clifton looking for a Kansas City sock. It's a 4th down and 3. Marshall to the right. Carson left. And Harry in the slot left. Timeout called by Bill Kenny. 8:02 left. 4th quarter. We'll be right back.
And get Coach Don Shula's thoughts about this game today. Coach?
I thought it was real important after Kansas City blocked the punt for the touchdown that the Jets came back with a series and moved it right back and scored to keep that margin there. That was very important for them. Otherwise, Kansas City might have gotten back into it.
What do you think about Ryan? Done a pretty good job?
No question about it. He's made some key plays for him, and he's gotten the job done. It was a steady job for him all day long.
Now, let me say, you said that you would have gone with Ryan, right? I mean, O'Brien.
O'Brien, no question about it.
Okay.
You know, they got Cleveland next week.
Thank you, Coach.
And a vintage photo, a bespectacled Bob Greasy, and a very youthful-looking Don Shula. It's a 4th and 3 as we resume. Kansas City at the Jet. 14, 8 minutes left, 4th quarter. And he swings to Smith. Smith gets inside the 15-yard line.
It's a nice effort for the first down, Marv. A little swing pass. You just say, here, Jeff Smith, I'm going to give you the ball. You break a tackle and get up and make the first down. Gastineau 99 coming from a stand-up position. Eatman cuts him, which allows a nice lane to get the ball out to Smith. Makes a good move and a big first down on 4th and 3.
So it is a 1st and goal. Good tackle on Paul Kaufman by Bob Crable.
Jet defense certainly playing very well today, coming off of that disaster last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, their offense, the #1 offense in the National Football League.
It'll be a 2nd and goal at the 5.
But Carson's got to be pleased with his defense today.
Moriarty and Smith, the running backs. And Kenny has it knocked down. Harry Bennett got a piece of it. Harry Bennett has been the steady man in that Jet front 3 last year. Career high of 7.5 sacks. He has remained healthy most of the way, and he is back on the right side where he has been more effective.
Look to the right. 78 is Bennett as he gets his left arm up. So he had good vision on the quarterback, and a quick release by the quarterback would have gotten the ball past him and not allowed him to knock the ball down.
3rd and goal from the 5. Page in motion to the left. They go to the ground. Jeff Smith. Lester Lyles, the strong safety, making the stop at the 2. And it will be a 4th and goal.
Those running plays, Marv, are critical because they keep the clock moving. The Chiefs almost need to be in their 2-minute offense for the last 3 or 4 or 5 minutes because they need points, and a lot of them very quickly.
12th play of this drive.
They can't stand 12-play drives. They need quick ones.
And Kenny throws, broken up by Lyles. Intended for Henry Marshall. Lester Lyles, who goes 6'3", was able to get a piece of it to keep it away from Marshall.
Lester Lyles, who came in with 5 and a couple of forced fumbles, number 26. Now Marshall is open, but Lyles sees that Kenny is looking that way and slides off the man he was covering. Should have had the interception.
The Jets take over at their 2. Lester Lyles, in a 2nd season out of Virginia, 2nd-round draft pick last year, made the good play. 6:01 remaining in this 4th quarter. Freeman McNeil with the short pickup following the Jets and the Chiefs. NFL 86, hosted by Bob Costas, will be checking in at both locker rooms, both the Jets and the Chiefs. We'll hear from the Cleveland Browns on reaction as to who they will be facing next Saturday, and a preview of the NFC wild card game. The kickoff of that game at about 2 minutes after 4 o'clock. So stay with us. 2nd down and 8. The ball at the 4 with 5.5 remaining in this 4th quarter. There's Boyce Green, who had an ankle problem early in this 4th quarter. 89 is Cleaver. McNeil for a yard. Bill Moss closed it.
We'll look at Bill Kenny on the sideline, and the Chiefs have had 4 possessions in the 2nd half. 2 have ended in interceptions, and one of those was returned for a touchdown. The other 2 possessions ended on 4th down. As you take a look right here, and those long drives, the 15-play drive and the 12-play drive, are great in the 1st half, but when you're down by 22 points, you need to score a little bit more quickly than that.
And Joe Walton has to be pleased with what has taken place here today. Pat Ryan on the keeper. Joe Walton says that the struggling Ken O'Brien is the Jet quarterback of the future, but he is not the quarterback today. Over the first 11 games, O'Brien threw 23 touchdowns, was intercepted only 8 times. See, the Jets fall short of the 1st down. Over the past 5 losses, O'Brien had thrown only 2 touchdowns and been intercepted 12 times.
Well, you take a look at what he has done the last 5 games, and Marv, when you get in a rut, sometimes the best thing you can do is to be sat down. Now, the quarterback is not going to ask the coach, set me down. The coach has to make that decision, and it's a tough one when it's a quarterback, but there's no question that the fresh breath of air that Ryan has brought has been a positive for this team.
All right, Dave Jennings had his last punt blocked, and the previous one was almost blocked. And now punting from his end zone. And letting that clock run down.
Frank Gans, the special teams coach, may be changing off. Jets had a good look at the alignment for the Chiefs.
And in doing so, they took the delay of game. Now the clock activated. Just under 3.5 remaining.
Gans was a popular addition to the squad. He was to the team. He was in Kansas City with Marv Leahy, and then went to Philadelphia. And as soon as the Philadelphia staff was fired, Nick Lowery was on his way to the stadium to try and convince John Mackovic to hire him, and he ran into Duron Cherry coming out, and he was jumping up and down. He said, did you hear, we got Gans. So everybody was a couple of steps ahead of Nick Lowery.
And Gans receiving a standing ovation on the flight back from Pittsburgh last week. The special teams sparking that victory over the Steelers despite only 171 yards total offense. And let's see what is going on here. Did they take another delay of game penalty?
They may be getting it close enough where they can get back and just take a safety and get a free kick. I think that's what they're going to do, Marv.
Yes, he runs out of the end zone, so not taking any chances, and that is respect for the Kansas City Chiefs.
No question, and a good call, smart call, going against the top special team unit in the league. Just get a free kick.
Right here, let's go to Bob Costas and NFL 86.
Marv, just another reminder about the post-game show. We'll preview that NFC wildcard matchup between the Rams and the Redskins, which starts a little bit after 4 o'clock. We'll also have locker room interviews with the winning Jets and the losing Chiefs. We'll have the post-game comments of Dolphins coach Don Shula, and we'll visit with some of the Browns, the Jets' next opponent. Let's go back to the Meadowlands.
Thank you, Bob. So the New York Jets taking the safety, which will lead to the free kick. The prior punt by Jennings led to this, and this is what the Jets were trying to avoid. You'll see number 29, Albert Lewis, make the move.
Lewis Cooper, 55, grabs a hold of Barber, who was supposed to be blocking on Lewis, shakes Lewis free, and Albert Lewis says, where is it? There it is. I'll just pick it up for a touchdown. And that's been the only second-half touchdown for the Chiefs today.
Albert Lewis in his 4th season out of Grambling. He is an alternate for the Pro Bowl. And an excellent season. Left cornerback, Albert Lewis.
That secondary could have had 4 players in the Pro Bowl, and Cherry and Burris both are going to the Pro Bowl. Lewis is an alternate. Ross on the other side is probably the most vicious hitter in that secondary. They're a very close unit, and they know they played well today.
And now the free kick for Dave Jennings. So the New York Jets showing great respect for the special team unit of the Kansas City Chiefs, giving up the 2 points and now giving the ball back to Kansas City. Jeff Smith on the return. Out to the 48. Took the hit from Matt Munger, a 12-yard return, and tempers Flair. Barber, the Jet player, involved and ushered aside with 2 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. What shape are the Jets in now? They lose 5 in a row. They come back strong here. Unless there is a miraculous turn, the Jets are going to go to the next round of the playoffs to face Cleveland on Saturday.
They've gained respect, and it's a big emotional lift for them. I think the fact that Ryan came back gave the team a fresh start going into the playoffs, and Gastineau coming back, I think, lifted their spirits defensively.
And here's Kenny throwing deep, and has Marshall. Marshall down to the 26, stopped by Hamilton and Carter. And the Chiefs now in a hurry-up offense, 26-yard pass play. We're down to 2.5 remaining, and the Jets up 35-15. Goes the middle. Herman Hurd, who has played sparingly today. On the reception, Kyle Clifton made the stop, and they move the chains once again. First down for the Chiefs. Here's Kenny making it look very easy, intended for Marshall, broken up by Carter.
It's looking easy because there's no pressure on him in the sense that you're 3 touchdowns down, and you can just, if you throw touchdowns, it's great, and if you're not, you're going to lose the game probably anyway. So he looks very calm and collected in the pocket.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Jets and the National Football League is prohibited. Kenny is now 7 for 14, 91 yards. 2nd and 10 from the 11. This is Hurd. Picked up a yard on the play. 2 minutes to go. There's the 2-minute warning. So a timeout with the Jets leading Kansas City 35-15.
1985. Bud Grant's Vikings couldn't be in more trouble. Down 23-zip to the Eagles in the 4th quarter. They need 4 miracles. Here's one. A fumble recovery for a TD is miracle 2. And this scoring bomb from Wade Wilson is miracle 3. Could this missile for Anthony Carter be miracle number 4? Count on it. The Vikes win 28-23.
NFC divisional playoff. The Jets playing at Cleveland starting at 12 o'clock Eastern time. New England at Denver on Sunday. So the Cleveland Browns will host a playoff game for the first time since 5 years ago, almost to the day. Frozen Lake of Lake Erie, January 4th, 1981. The Browns at home for the Raiders, and the Raiders beat the Browns. Last time a playoff game took place in Cleveland. Mike Davis putting it away with that interception.
Boy, do I remember that game, and you can be sure that the Jets don't care if it's that cold or what. They're just happy to be going to Cleveland.
Mark Gastineau giving the club an emotional lift. Pat Ryan, the starter today. Don Shula said he'd still go back to Ken O'Brien next week. How do you feel about that?
I think you have to go with Ryan. He has brought him this far, and it's good for O'Brien that he's been able to sit out a game. His batteries are recharged. He found that all the pressure is not on him. He does not have to play like a Superman for this team to win. That Ryan has showed him that, and Ryan is the quarterback next week, and O'Brien is the quarterback next year.
Stephon Page, the intended receiver, so Kenny now looking at a 4th and 9. Pat Ryan, 16 for 23, 154 yards. His teammates refer to him as Mr. Guts, a very tough performer. Played with a couple of concussions 2 years ago when he was the starter at the beginning of the season and led the Jets to a record of 6-2. Here's Kenny stepping up. One-hand catch. But it's down at the 4 as Clifton and Crable combine. And that is it for the Kansas City drive as Jeff Smith was stopped. So Smith stopped short of the first down, and this crowd responding to the Jet defensive effort.
It's certainly something the fans in Giant Stadium are happy to see, the Jets coming back winning a game. I don't think anybody is kidding themselves and thinking that the Jets are all the way back to where they were after the first 11 games, but certainly it's a confidence builder. It's something they can gain respect from, and they can go into Cleveland and say, hey, are we this good? And certainly when you look at Toon and Walker and McNeil, their offense is very explosive, and their defense, Bud Carson getting the high five. A big battle going on between Bud Carson's defense, because they wanted to win this one for Bud Carson, because he had been fired from the Kansas City job by John Mackovic a couple of years ago.
Jets from their 4. McNeil able to spring loose. Kevin Ross made the tackle, a 24-yard run by number 24, Freeman McNeil. The last time the Jets won a game was November the 16th when they beat Indianapolis here at Giant Stadium 31-16, and after that a 45-3 crushing by Miami, a loss to the Rams, to the 49ers, to Pittsburgh, and last week walloped by Cincinnati 52-21. This will represent the first home playoff victory for the Jets since December of '68 when they beat the Raiders at Shea Stadium. McNeil with 45 seconds to go in the game.
It's almost time to get your main running back out of the game, free from injury, and there you see Joe Walton's accepting the congratulations. Protective gear all over. Ryan played the entire game with gloves on. Didn't seem to bother him. In fact, helped his traction. When the ball is cold like this, it gets a little hard. A lot of smiles on the parts of the Jets. It's been a long time coming for the New York Jets, who suffered a lot in the last month and a half.
Freeman McNeil finishes with 134 yards on 31 carries. John Mackovic congratulating Joe Walton as time has run out on this Kansas City Chief 1986 season. A good run to make the playoffs by winning their final 3 to finish at 10-6. And the Jets, who entered the playoffs by losing their last 5 in improbable fashion, win the wild card. They have defeated the Chiefs by the score of 35-15. So the Jets will advance to face the Cleveland Browns next Saturday in Cleveland. Again, the final score: the Jets 35 and Kansas City 15. We'll be back, led by Marty Lyons, right here celebrating the victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. The Jets and the Browns next Saturday along Lake Erie in Cleveland. So the Jets, who were beaten in the wild card last season by the New England Patriots, this year are able to advance.
You are looking live at RFK Stadium in Washington. It's the Redskins against the Los Angeles Rams in the NFC wildcard game. The Skins have lost only one time at home this year, but at least the Rams have decent news from the weatherman. Clear sky, temperatures in the 40s. That should give Eric Dickerson, who was the league's leading rusher, the kind of field that he needs to turn it on. And a key man in the Skins' big play offense, wide receiver Gary Clark, is nursing a sprained ankle. He's expected to see only limited action. Another key factor in this matchup will be the performance under pressure of the 2 starting quarterbacks. For both Jay Schrader and Jim Everett, this is their first playoff game. CBS coverage of the road to Pasadena and Super Bowl 21 begins this afternoon on the NFL Today.
Musburger.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. So a coach's gamble pays off. Kenny O'Brien is sent to the sidelines. In comes Pat Ryan, and the New York Jets have eliminated the Kansas City Chiefs 35-15. They did it in very convincing fashion. With O'Brien watching from the sidelines, it was 4th and 6. And Ryan, on the quarterback draw, ran 24 yards. It was perhaps the biggest single play of the game. Ryan used this play to set up a touchdown. Freeman McNeil, 4 yards, and it was a 7-6 lead by the Jets. The Jets went up 14-16. Ryan, his first of 3 touchdown passes. This one to McNeil. Then with time running out in the second quarter, Ryan hit Al Toon over the middle for an 11-yard score and a 21-6 lead. Then it was the first play of the third quarter. Todd Blackledge's pass is picked off by Kevin McArthur, who runs it back 21 yards for a touchdown, and the Jets were never headed. Next Saturday, the New York Jets will be on the road. They will play the real sleeper in the AFC, the team that's on a roll, the Cleveland Browns. And Jimmy the Greek, who will be favored in that Brown-Jet game? Or need I even ask?
Who's played better than the Cleveland Browns, especially with your quarterback, Kozar, that you think so highly of? The Browns at home will be less than a touchdown favorite. Mr. Walton will have a hard time there.
Jimmy the Greek, there's an issue being raised about the Jets. If you were Joe Walton, wouldn't you stick with Pat Ryan now the way he played today and not go back to Ken O'Brien?
Who knows what Mr. Walton's going to do, but I would have to go with Ryan.
All right. Well, Jimmy, I know there's an issue about the Washington Redskins. Let's you and I go live down to RFK and our colleague Irv Cross. Irv, what about Gary Clark? We saw him in that tape segment running fairly well. You've been watching him. Will he be able to go against the Rams today?
Well, it's still a question mark, Brent, whether or not he'll be ready to start or how much he'll play, we don't know. Coach Gibbs said he would watch him in the pregame warm-up to see how he responded. Now, he's a very unusual athlete. He's a tough guy. You hear that expression a lot, but this young man is really a tough football player. He's been playing off and on all year long with hamstring pulls, and now he has a severely sprained ankle, and they wanted to wait until after the pregame warm-up to see how it came along. One of the assistant coaches told me, you know, even though he's limping now, it doesn't mean much because he can go in the locker room and come out and play for us. So we have to wait and see what his status is like. Of course, if he can't go, Ricky Sanders, who's a big play receiver, will be substituting for him today. Let's go over to Will McDonough and his guest.
Irv, thanks very much. We're with John Robinson, the head coach of the Rams. John, you were not happy with the way the Rams finished the season. What have you done since the final game?
Well, we were just really disappointed in our performance against the 49ers. They played very well, but we weren't ourselves. We had a few extra days this week. We went back and really started working on every detail thing we could think of. We thought some of those things slipped away from us, so that's something we felt we had to get back.
Well, it sounds like you're going to play a more physical game. Does that mean we're going to see more of Eric Dickerson?
Well, you're going to see a lot of them. I mean, that's kind of a trademark of ours, but we've got to mix it. But we've got to keep him working and try to get control of the game in the fourth quarter.
Well, if you're going to mix it, what have you done for Jim Everett in the game plan? Have you reduced it just for him?
Well, I think we have to, be limited. He's a rookie. This is a first experience. He's only played 6 games in this league, but we also got to let him go. I mean, he's played well in those 6 games, so we've got to have a balanced approach to it, and we will throw the ball.
John, thanks very much. We're going to go back upstairs to your old friend, John Madden and Pat Summerall. John and Pat?
All right, Will, thank you. I think John Robinson probably alluded to perhaps the key to this game, and that would be the 2 big running backs, Eric Dickerson and George Rogers. And if they can keep those 2 involved in the game, I think it probably controls the whole complex.
I think that's going to be the big thing, because they know that they want to do that. John was just talking about balance, but by balance, he means Eric Dickerson running a lot, at least 30 times, and then being able to throw the ball a little. Now, we know the Redskins, they want to do the same thing with George Rogers, and I always felt the way to get these great running backs out of the game is just get ahead of them. Make them have to pass. Now, that's what both teams are going to want to try to do. I think the first quarter is going to be very important in this game. I think getting off to a good start, getting ahead, because neither one of these teams is good at playing uphill. And I think the team that can get off to the best start will have the best chance of winning this game.
I think that's a pretty good analysis. Now let's go back to Brent.
Whether I was necessarily an emotional lift, I think it was just, first really total team effort we've had in 4 or 5 weeks. The offensive line played well, the defense played well, and when that's happening, you get Freeman going, it makes it easy for me.
That's what I was going to say. Your ace in the hole seemed to be all day is Freeman McNeil, who just ran like a demon.
Oh, well, Freeman, if you can keep him in the game, and keep the other team from scoring a lot of points, you can use him a lot. And when you can use him a lot and he's running well like he has been the last few weeks, would be tough to beat.
All right, you had a pass to Freeman early in the game as the first touchdown. We'll take a look at it here. It was Freeman was all alone by himself. What was this play?
Well, it was more or less the same play we ran right before. We faked the trap inside, and Freeman came across the backfield and kind of trapped the linebacker inside and left him wide open.
One of the things you also did very well is you got Toon and Walker back involved in the game.
Well, yeah, we did a little bit. Probably not as much as they would like, but that's how we like to do it, just short stuff, hit here, hit there, and let them do, run the ball a little bit and see what happens.
Isn't it amazing you lose 5 weeks in a row and you win and you forget all about those losses?
Well, yeah, it does. Nothing like winning, and it just takes away all the pain that we've had the last 5 weeks. We just hope to keep it up.
All right, congratulations, and I'll let you join the party as we go back to Bob Costas.
Ahmad, thanks very much. Unofficial numbers on Freeman McNeil: 31 carries for 134 yards, a touchdown on a reception, and a touchdown rushing. Stay with us.
5. Then the San Francisco 49ers would come east to play the New York Giants, and that means that the gentleman right here, Bill Parcells, would have to take on Joe Montana. So, Bill, is there any reason for you to be pulling for the Los Angeles Rams? In other words, would you rather play the Rams next week than the 49ers?
Well, we don't really have any preference, but of course the experienced quarterback is a big factor in the playoffs, and San Francisco's playing very well, and Montana's a great one.
Bill, you did a great job on RFK. You're one of the few coaches to go in there into the teeth of that crowd and shut them down. What's the Rams' keys have to be now to beating the Redskins?
Well, I think they're going to have to dominate in the running game with Dickerson, and that means making first downs on first and second down rather than wait until third. I think if it comes down to third downs, the Redskins might have an edge.
How'd you handle Dexter Manley so well in that game?
Well, it was a great individual effort. Brad Benson just did a terrific job. We gave him a little help once in a while, but for the most part, it was one-on-one.
Will the problem with Manley this week Will that cause a problem inside the locker room with that team? Bill, how can you read that?
Well, I don't really know very much about it, but hey, it's playoff time, and they're playing for the chips, and they need everybody, and I'm sure they'll rally.
All right, now what about Jim Everett being basically a rookie quarterback in that atmosphere and this setting? What will John Robinson attempt to do with him today?
Again, I think he'll try to take the pressure off him by, as I said, making first downs before it gets to be third down where the onus isn't on Everett.
Now, Mike Ditka, he is so pleased that you're the favorite to win the NFC. He can't say enough good things about your football team.
Well, I think Mike is doing a little political work. You know, they only lost 3 games in 2 years, and I haven't heard dynasty, but there's been a lot of teams win championships without winning that many.
You know, Bill, when we see Tom Landry on the sidelines, we think about the man, the stoic with the hat. And when we see Ditka, we think about him roughing up a player, verbally at least, on the sideline. Here's what we think when we watch Bill Parcells on the New York Giants sideline.
Splash, I was taking a bath, long about a Saturday night. Yeah, rubbed up, just relaxing in the tub, thinking everything was alright. Well, I stepped out the tub, I put my feet on the floor, I wrapped the towel around me and I opened the door, and then a splish splash, I jumped back in the bath. Well, how was I to know there was a party going on? There was a fishing and a playing.
You've never been able to duck that.
No, but I'm going to get him one day, Brent.
Yeah, you should sneak up behind him.
I'm going to get him when he least expects it.
All right. Make a pick for me. Redskins?
I think the Redskins.
Boy, he said it reluctantly, didn't he, folks? We'll continue with the NFL today here on CBS in just a moment. At RFK Stadium, the site of the last meeting between the Rams and the Redskins. That was a 1983 playoff game. Washington trounced the Rams that day, 51-7. But since then, there have been plenty of changes on both teams. And more on that now from Irv Cross. Irv?
Well, Brent, the starting quarterbacks in the 1983 game were 2 seasoned veterans who had led their teams to the Super Bowl. Vince Ferragamo for the Rams and Joe Theismann for Washington. But today, the Rams are going with a rookie quarterback who did not make his first start until the 12th game of the regular season. As for the Redskins, they also have a relatively new leader at that position. Be it government or football, transitions of power always seem to go off without a hitch in Washington. So when Joe Theismann went down with a broken leg, Jay Schrader was able to step in smoothly. But it wasn't until this season that Schrader felt he was really the commander-in-chief.
After last year, I had a chance to get my feet wet, play a little bit, and get a little chance to figure out what the game's all about. Coming into this year, I knew it was going to be my show and just go at it that way.
Although this is Jay's first full season at the helm, getting to start 5 games last year helped him to succeed.
I don't think anybody could have predicted that a first-year quarterback in the league would come in and do that well. I mean, that's something that you just kind of dream about.
Now I feel a lot more confident. I've played for a year. I know what I can do, and now it's time to build on that and get better and better.
But Schrader's had some tough outings the past 3 weeks. Nevertheless, in a town that always seems quick to proclaim a crisis of confidence, the Redskins are solidly behind their young quarterback.
You have to realize that, you know, this is his first year, and he's going to make mistakes. He still has a long way to go. He has a lot to learn. But I don't think there's any question he has any question in his confidence, and I know I don't as a receiver. Any butterflies for this one?
There's really not. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Like Jay Schrader, Jim Everett is also having fun. He won the first 3 games he started. Because he was so new to the league, his initial problem wasn't figuring out opposing defenses, but simply sounding like an NFL quarterback.
He took a tape recorder home with him at night just to hear his voice and our terminology and our offense.
Just like learning a new language, the more you say it, the easier it is. And so, you know, I would take it home, the recorder home, and talk, and it sounded awful.
Watching him fool around at practice yesterday, Everett looked the part of a confident veteran. But this is his first big postseason game since the 1984 Peach Bowl. And because he is so new to the NFL, at times he thinks he is still in college.
He's fun in the hole. We were playing, I think, Dallas, and he said, "Come on, guys, let's go for the national championship." And the guys kind of laughed at it. But that's the kind of leadership I think we really need.
As was the case with Jay Schrader, Jim Everett is coming off a lackluster performance going into today's game. So the fact that he got off to such a good start with the Rams is being overlooked. All people want to know this week in Washington is, how much of the Rams offense does Jim Everett know, and when did he know it?
Oh, I think he knows the time. If he has a horrible day, I don't think it'll phase him. I think he expects to be in a lot of playoff games in his career. He's just one of those guys. I think Jay Schrader's the same kind of guy. I mean, those are guys that come out here and say, hey, baby, let's play.
Would Schrader have an advantage having started 21 games? I guess you've only started 6 now as a quarterback in the National Football League. Does that give him a little bit of an edge?
You would think so, but you know, I don't know. We'll have to find out on Sunday what exactly happened.
Everybody talks about what the young quarterback from Los Angeles is going to do. Now, Coach Parcells will appreciate this, Brent, because Coach Robinson changed his offense at the beginning of the season to simplify it. You know, if you really want to run a sweep, most teams will call the formation red right, 48 power sweep, G.O. Bob, and they go right with the outside sweep. With the Rams, it's I right, sweep right, I left, sweep right, left. Give the ball to Eric and let him go with it. Very simple offense, but effective.
Yeah, very effective. We've seen John Robinson a couple of times, and his mood, he's always relaxed even before a big game. Tell me about Joe Gibbs. He blew up in the locker room last Sunday about the performance against the Eagles. What's his mood like coming up to this game?
Very tense, Brent, very tense, because he's been preaching all year long. He wanted this Redskin team to get on an upbeat mode to go into the playoffs, you know, flying high. They lost 2 of the last 3 games in the regular season, so he's very concerned about that. They have not played the kind of football he'd like to see them play, except in the 4th quarter last week against Philadelphia when he had a temper tantrum at halftime.
Irv, what about his kicking game? How did his field goal kickers look warming up? That's plagued the Skins this year.
No problem. Their field goal kicking is well secure. I think with Jess Atkinson, he's a confident kicker. As a matter of fact, he goes through a routine where he practices kicking motion by himself without a ball, and he does that hour after hour after hour. He's a pretty good kicker. No problem there.
All right, Irv. No problem. Well, we'll see what happens in the 4th quarter. 2 minutes to go. Game on the line, whether or not there's a problem. We're going to come back and ask Jimmy the Greek. We've already heard from Coach Parcells. He likes the Redskins, and we'll have more. Are those numbers that the IRS would be interested in, or something else in that book, Griggs?
No, these are the figures that we've been keeping for the last 50 years. And it says here, Rams 8, Washington 8. That makes it a dead even game. Consequently, Washington's at home. They should be a slight favorite. But you know what? I think Dickerson and Redden will outsmart the Washington defense. He's going to run with Dickerson and throw to Redden and then run to Redden and throw a little bit to Dickerson. There'll be 5 field goals kicked in this game, Brent. Now, the question is, who's going to kick the last one? It's going to be 20-20. Tell me who's going to pick the last one. I know who you want. You want Washington.
You know, I always go with the Skins at home.
All right.
Except when they play the Giants.
No, except when they played the Giants, the Greek went with the Giants.
Well, give me a score on this game.
23-20, Rams.
Rams to win.
Did I say it loud enough?
You did. Then Coach Parcells, I guess he's not in agreement with you that the Skins can handle this one at home.
No, I guess he's not.
It's close. It's a toss-up.
Well, I tell you, it is a noisy, tough atmosphere in which any team has to go and try to win a ball game. And Bill, what affects you the most in a crowd setting like this? Is it the quarterback trying to call the signals, or the fact that in the hoopla, the home team gets caught up in it?
I think definitely the 3rd down. If you're in the shotgun, the noise, that's the big factor.
Okay, well, it'll be rocking down on RFK now. They're going to be introducing the starting lineups, and we get word that Gary Clark will be starting for the Rams when their offense is on the field. Jimmy?
I'll tell you one thing. He's going to play, but he's playing hurt, Brent.
Well, here comes Doug Reed. Now, he's been a starter for the Rams ever since Jack Youngblood retired. Next to him, it'll be Sean Miller on the nose. What about the defensive unit of the Rams, Bill? We haven't spoken about them as a group yet.
Very steady, no gambling, good hustle and tough defense.
Any weaknesses that you're aware of with this group?
No, I don't think so. I think they got.
You wouldn't tell me anyway, would you?
No, I sure wouldn't.
We might have to face them again.
At left, inside linebacker, number 59 from Washington, Mark Giroux.
Jimmy, I can remember the last time a road team, other than the Giants this year, won a playoff game down there. It was the Chicago Bears. They went in there, won the divisional round, then went out and were beaten by San Francisco 2 years ago for the title. So it is possible to go in here and win a game. It is certainly not impossible.
The 49ers beat them, but they didn't get the score, if you remember that game.
There was a little controversy about the pass interference in that game.
Number 25 from Texas.
You know, the Rams are 4-4 on the road, you know. But this is a late game, so it puts it into the Los Angeles time.
From Kansas, Leroy Irvin.
Vince Newsom. And at strong
Here's a player who's been around a long time, been a great safety for the Rams. Nolan Cromwell was a college quarterback. Now we'll get ready for RFK to start rocking. And they're going to introduce the defense, and won't it be interesting to hear how the crowd reacts when Dexter Manley is introduced.
At left end, number 71 from Nevada, Reno, Charles Mann. At left tackle, number 65 from Purdue, Dave Butts. At right tackle, number 77 from Rice, Darrell Grant. At right end, number 72 from Oklahoma State, Dexter Manley.
The roars are for Dexter Manley and the Washington Redskins. So along with Bill Parcells, Jimmy the Greek, Irv Cross, and Will McDonough, I'm Brent Musburger. We'll see you at halftime. Coming up now on...